So welcome to the Fearless Man's weekly live broadcast. And today I want to cover a topic that we've been covering in the live events that I think has been very powerful. We get a lot of positive response from it. Of course, we have a lot more time in the live events to go really deep into these topics, but I'm going to briefly cover them here. If it's something you really like, make sure you comment below and we can start talking about them a little bit more in later talks. We can go deeper into these 8 things. Now, I do talk about them a lot. I do reference them, but I've never put them together like this, at least on a recording that I know of. So number 1 is grounding. You've got to be a grounded man. Let's take a car battery. If a car battery is not grounded, does it operate properly? No. What the grounding does is it gets rid of your anxiety, gets rid of your nervousness, gets rid of your all that buildup of energy. So you start to enter a difficult situation, grounding helps you to relax and to be able to handle that difficult situation, i.e. tension, under pressure. How you develop a grounding ability is developing a stronger relationship to your legs. Really learning to relax, feel your legs, learning to feel your pelvis, make sure you can rock and move your pelvis. A lot of you guys can't move your pelvis. And if you don't understand what that means to move your pelvis, well then you're gonna definitely need to take a look at that. Because your pelvis literally should be able to rock back and forth like this. And a lot of you guys, when we come into a workshop, all you can do is move your hips back and forth. And so a woman really wants to feel that a man can move his pelvis. It's really important for sex, for turn on and so forth. So it's just an awareness that has to be developed. And when your pelvis is more flat in the back, you tend to be more grounding. The other thing you can do is work on relaxing your perineum and the area around the ass of all things. And what happens is you start to be able to feel down through your legs and your body more when you do this. As you become more feeling based in your legs and in the pelvis, and you start to learn to relax, when tension comes at you, it kind of has this weird way of just moving through your body. You could be, for example, somebody to practice this as a physical way of practicing it. You could have one of your buddies just give you little slaps on the chest and get a feeling as to whether or not you can relax with that or if you tense up. Not hard ones, just little relaxed, little hits, and then just see, can you relax with that? Can you enjoy it? Can you have a sense of flow through your body, or do you tense up? And then start getting more to where you use it in conversation. When you go out and talk to somebody that's being tense, just notice, can you feel that part of your body? And does it bring a little more relaxation? Every time you develop even a 1% more awareness and relaxation in this area, it's going to grow. And then it's going to compound. 1% leads to another percent, leads to another percent. And within no time, the compounding of that starts to grow radically. And your ability to stay relaxed under pressure becomes much more powerful. The next one I want to talk about is tension. Being able to handle and step into tension. Really, tension is created within yourself. There is nothing to really be tense about other than something that you make tense inside yourself. You could be really tense about approaching that beautiful woman, or you could be, for another guy that's used to it, he could be really calm. And so it's really not a tension thing, but the tension tells you where you're running from fear, where you have work to do. So what I recommend is that you learn to step into that tension and use the grounding to relax yourself. Reactive guys tend to want to get through tension as fast as possible. I'm going to rush over and approach that girl as fast as possible because they're scared, they're nervous, they're rushing, they're speaking fast, and their brain is racing really fast. People that are good with tension tend to relax, tend to calm down. So relax in the tension and just keep doing it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you will get more confident in no time. Matter of fact, the tension that used to bother you just won't bother you at all anymore. The next one we want to talk about is being decisive. Napoleon Hill said that the most decisive people in the world, and he studied 500 of the world's most successful people over about a 20-year period or so, and he said the most successful people in the world were actually the most decisive. They made decisions quickly and changed their minds slowly, if ever at all. That's one of the quotes in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And I find that to be super true, that decisive people get a lot more results. Look, think about it for a minute. If you have a hard time making a decision, well, you're avoiding stepping into tension, first of all. There's a lot of stuff on your mind, in the back of your mind, that you're constantly mulling over that's kind of in an escrow, which then ties up a lot of your energy. And then when you finally make a decision, if you change your mind quickly, then you're going right back into that indecisive energy again. And indecisive energy is the surest way to keep you from growing. Every time you make a decision, you're stepping into tension and you're growing and you're learning from it. It's better to make a decision and learn from it if it didn't go well than it is to sit there and do nothing in limbo. So don't sit in limbo, make a decision, get into action, and make things happen. Just make sure the decision, the only real caveat is, does this decision serve me and the other person? Nothing that takes from somebody else. Does it serve the other person? Walking over and telling a beautiful woman that she's beautiful serves both of you. You get to give a gift, she gets to receive a gift. Asking a girl out is giving, as long as it's coming from a real authentic place, not from a place of trying to manipulate, lie, or hide something, pretend that you want something else, one thing when you want another. Be real, be honest, because honesty is an aphrodisiac. It turns women on. The next one is feeling, or i.e. listening. Listening, i.e. feeling. The ability to feel comes from the upper body. So start developing a sense of awareness in the heart. Do meditations around the heart. Work on feeling into the heart. Kind of rock the heart and work on just, can I feel into it? Push it out. Can I feel out of it? I've done that exercise. Literally, it's like a meditation for like 10 minutes straight, just working on feeling into my heart. If you don't like that one, just feel it open. It's like a sense of a window opening right here. Just feel it, feel it, feel it. And then come in and then feel the window open in the back. And just feel how that smooth rock works. And just start to become aware of the heart and how it connects to the rest of the body. And that starts to turn on your feeling center. A sense of awareness to emotion starts to turn up your emotional acuity, your emotional intelligence as you develop more feeling. But if you don't, as like I was saying earlier, if you don't like this one, there's tons of meditations online to help you develop more awareness in the heart, which will then start to develop more feeling. Now, the number one thing, one of the most important things, not number one, but one of the most important things a woman needs is the ability for a man to listen when she speaks. That doesn't mean repeating back every word she says. It means feeling her emotions the way she speaks, and that's why developing feeling is so important. Because if you can feel her emotions, you can feel her subtle cues. You can feel when she's pulling away, pushing forward, when she's saying one thing but meaning another. You can start to dance with her more. This doesn't mean you do always what she wants because you can feel her emotions. It just means that you're better able to have a deeper, more connected conversation. Matter of fact, sometimes she might be looking at you with turn on while saying something else, and you'll be able to start sensing that as you develop more feeling. So develop more feeling now. And also, it's also very important for connecting deeper. For a lot of you that have trouble getting a girl to call you back, developing more feeling is huge. Because as you connect deeper and she begins to like and trust you more, feel more of a connection, she's definitely gonna wanna call you back. The next one is a container. We call it the container. Think of a picture frame around a painting. A picture frame contains the painting so it doesn't fall off the wall. It's the structure, it's the frame. The painting is the expression. Well, the container is the masculine. The picture or the painting is the feminine. It's the expression. So when you're on a date, if you really want to polarize her, which is what creates attraction, then you need to create a great container. Great container means you're handling the shit when the shit hits the fan. When you're standing there talking to her at the bar for the first time, meeting her, and things start to connect, then I start moving in slowly. At first I don't have a container, I'm just meeting her, but then start moving in and start creating a container. A space where you're aware of the space around her. She's investing more in you, you're investing more in her, she's going more into her feminine. Create more of a container, like a pot for a plant or something like that, for the feminine to be in. And that's where I start paying attention to the space around us. If people are bumping into her, knocking her over, I deal with it. If I need to move us to another part of the bar to have a more connected conversation, because it's time to move, I deal with it. Grab her hand, we lead, move to another section. So that container is really important. Are you handling the shit when the shit hits the fan all around you? Are you making things better? Are you moving things forward? And that's huge. So just start to become aware. Become aware of this, not just her, connect to her, but to the space inside the bubble you two have, or the container. And just manage it, take care of it, make things happen. Be the leader of that energy. And with that said, the next one is leading. Being willing to take action when action is called for. And that means stepping into tension, dealing with difficult situations, getting things done. You know, if the waiter is being really rude, maybe dealing with that and asking for a different waiter or a different table, or leaving the restaurant instead of sitting there afraid to upset somebody. Show her that you can be a man, that you can make the experience better without losing control and being an asshole. By grounding, calming down, relaxing, being decisive that you're going to handle this, creating a container for the space, this is your space for you and her to enjoy together, then you dealing with the situation by you leading and taking action, stepping into the tension, then you become way more attractive in her eyes. Boy, now she has a man. And if you look at all these behaviors I'm talking about, they really don't take much. They're very simple little things to do. Matter of fact, you can sit back and relax, because what's going to happen now is as you start to do these things and create a nice space for her to be feminine, you might be surprised at how much more expressive, girly, giggly she becomes for you, how much more she wants to give to you, touch you, be near you, because that's what the masculine does to the feminine. It makes the feminine come out and want to be that for the masculine that's creating this space. And the next one, we got two more, by the way. The next one is penetrating. So don't be afraid to be penetrating energetically. So this one always sounds funny. People probably laugh sometimes, but we're being serious here, because sometimes you can be sitting back and relaxing and talking, connecting and enjoying and being in a receiving state. But there's other times when you're more penetrating. You're looking into her a little deeper. You're enjoying her. You're showing her intent. You're showing her you like her. You're making a point. And you're saying something. It might be as simple as, like, the moment hits and you can really feel a connection. You look into her a little deeper than normal and you say, I really like you. Or there's something about you. Or you're trouble. And we're going to get into trouble tonight. Or something like that, where you're stepping in a little deeper and you're being powerfully penetrating. If for a really good example of really powerful penetration, which is, again, some laughter out there, I'm sure. So really powerful penetrating energy. See Leonardo DiCaprio's scene in The Aviator, where he's, I don't know where it's at in the DVD, but if you look it up, it's a famous scene where he's talking to the cigarette girl. And he's very powerful, he's very penetrating, he's very bold, he's very grounding, he's also containing, he's leading. He's also a little bit on the arrogant asshole side, but he owns it well. And he really delivers that scene powerfully. So check that scene out, and also comment, let us know what you think about that. And then the next one, maybe I'll have that scene on here one time, we can break it down, but the next one on here is turn on. Do you feel turned on when you're talking to her? Do you feel aroused? Think about Arnold Schwarzenegger in the documentary Pumping Iron, which I've actually never seen, I've only had people tell me about it, but he says something to the effect of, I'm coming all the time. I'm coming when I'm crossing the street, I'm coming when I'm curling. He's turned on for everything he does, not just for sex, not just for a woman he's dating, but he's turned on when he's doing his job. He's turned on when he's doing his career. He's living his passion, or he's living in passion. So when he's in front of a woman, it's very easy to be turned on. He doesn't apologize for it. And he doesn't sit down and wait for her to get turned on first before he gets turned on. If he's turned on, he lets her see that he's turned on, because that's what's gonna get her turned on. But you gotta own it. You can't be creepy about it or weird about it and be all, strange and trying to hide it. No, you just, yeah, I'm turned on. How could I not be? Look at you. And just own that energy. And even if you don't say it outright, she'll feel it connecting to her. Because if you're doing all the rest right, it's gonna transfer. She's gonna feel that turn on. And then she's either has to make a decision whether she wants to move forward or not, because she's gonna know your intent. She's gonna know you like her. And that's what you really want, right? For all you guys trying to be the nice guy, which means not doing most of this, and getting rid of all the tension, like, I don't want to create a container, she might get mad. I don't want to be decisive, she might get mad. I don't want to lead something that would upset her. I don't want to get turned on for sure, because, you know, that might really make her mad. Well, no wonder you're not getting anywhere with women. Because how can a woman really enjoy you if you're afraid to be a man, if you're afraid of your own masculine? She can't, because you can't polarize her. So start looking at these energies, start playing with them a little bit more. Just take one at a time, by the way. This is very important. A lot of you will try to write all these down and do all of them at once. Work on one skill at a time and start with grounding. Once you get the grounding principle basically started, moving on your legs and that type of stuff, then start moving to the next one. And also, by the way, sports tends to help men become more grounding. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Sistema is a great Russian martial arts where they really teach a lot of grounding principles in it. I would imagine even yoga to some degree should have a lot of grounding aspects in it. And anything where you have to deal with a certain level of tension under pressure, you're gonna have to start learning to ground, okay? So with that said, I hope you enjoyed that short talk. We can go deeper into these more, especially if you like them. If you really liked what I just said, make sure you comment, make sure you put comments in the video, let us know what you want to know more about. If I get a bunch of you saying, I need you to talk more about grounding, then I know that's an important topic. If a bunch of you are saying, I need you to talk more about being decisive, I have trouble with that, I know that's an important topic. So make sure to comment in the video, And with that said, we're going to jump into the Q&A for the week. Just got to change screens, guys. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so here we go. So the live Q&A for the week. The first one is from Cameron. He writes, "Hi Brian, I love following your work." Thank you, Cameron. "It's really made a huge difference in my life as I've come to realize that the major block I have with women is self-rejecting things that I do subconsciously that push women away. I'm able to attract women initially, but when I get the courage to approach them, I end up sabotaging it. And I can see the girls getting weirded out by my sub-communication, and sometimes I can see that they are actually really annoyed by my persona. That comes up when I'm nervous talking to a beautiful girl. How can I become more aware of what I'm doing that is rejecting women? Inside myself, I feel fear, sometimes insecurity, and then usually when I see that women are responding poorly, I get frustrated and then I get depressed, and once again, I ruined an opportunity. I haven't been on a date in months, and I haven't had any physical contact with women for years or more. My confidence is really starting to plummet because I've been trying to fix this issue for years, and I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes I feel that I'll never be able to even get a date or kiss because of my self-sabotage. Can you give me an exercise or maybe just some words of advice on how to push past this stage?" Now, Cameron, first off, thank you for being so vulnerable and writing all that. That's a lot of stuff. What I noticed in there is you're very aware of the emotions that you go through in this experience. And you probably spend a lot of time thinking about it. The question I'd have is, do you feel those emotions or do you analyze those emotions? And said, this is what I'm feeling based on analyzation. Analyzation comes from the head, feeling comes from here. So what I'm really interested in is what you're feeling in the moment. If you really want to change this, you have to start feeling. Now, before I even get into that, I'm going to back up a little further now. You said when you approach women, things go wrong. Well, that's very common. Even guys that are good tend to create an awkward moment when they first approach. It gets awkward for a little bit, it gets a little strange. They just ground it out until things start to connect. Girls will test them, girls will push, girls will get awkward because it is awkward to have a stranger approach you. And it's even more awkward to have a stranger approach you and show some sexual interest or romantic interest in a sense. And so they get a little weirder, but as you ground, demonstrate your masculine, the things I just talked about, and start to create a relaxation in your own body, it starts to cause them to relax. Now that won't happen immediately. It might take 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, depends on the girl. It could take a few minutes. So you have to start getting really, really comfortable with women being uncomfortable. That's just the way it is. You have to get really comfortable with grounding them when they're uncomfortable. Imagine you have a girlfriend. Is she ever going to be uncomfortable? Hell yeah, she's going to be uncomfortable a lot. If you can't ground, create a container, all the stuff we just talked about, well, you're going to have a really hard time staying in a long-term relationship because that's the role of the masculine if you want to be the masculine in the relationship. So I want to recommend that you really start taking a look at that part of your life. Now, if these emotions are coming up, and let's say it's going past 10, 20, 30 seconds a minute, and you're just getting more awkward with her, that's what's pushing her away. You're getting awkward while she's getting awkward instead of grounding that situation, and that causes the whole conversation to die. So that's where you have to do your work. I highly recommend, since you've got some level of emotional awareness, at least it seems like, unless it's analytical, that you check out the book Letting Go by David Hawkins. Releasing is one of the most powerful, or letting go is one of the most powerful tools I find to help you really shift through your emotions. But what you need to do is welcome those emotions, because it's the one thing that's really holding you back, is that you know what the emotions are, but you're not processing them out of your body. And you can do that. It doesn't take long at all to really process some emotions. It may take a while to get through all your stories, but you can let some stuff go and feel lighter immediately. So notice what you're feeling. If you're feeling frustrated, welcome the frustration in that moment, right when it's happening. Can I welcome this frustration? Can I allow it? And just notice what it feels like. And then ask yourself, after you've allowed it for a few seconds, can you let it go? Can I let go of this frustration? Now, to do this, you have to be feeling down through your body. Grounding and feeling down through your body. So I recommend you lower your head a little bit, feel right down the center part of your body. And if you have to, imagine you're opening, just as like an opening, whether it's in the stomach, the lower stomach, the heart, wherever you feel the frustration, and just open. And ask your body if you can just start letting it go, letting it out a little bit at a time. Some people it helps if they put a straw in there. Some people, they're fine without it. And just imagine there's a little straw and just let that tension out, let that energy out, let that emotion out. And if you feel even a hair lighter, you're growing. Some people just have to do it for a while before they start to notice the lightness because they don't have enough emotional awareness yet, but it sounds like you might have it. So just start doing that a little bit at a time and then welcome what the next energy is. If the frustration completely leaves, then what else comes up? I think you said there's anger, let's say. I'm going to use anger. Welcome the anger. And then ask yourself, can I let the anger go? And just feel where it's at in the body. Drop your head. Can I let this anger go? Can I let a little more go? Take a deep breath if it comes up naturally. Can I let a little more go? Can I let a little more go? Make sure you're feeling your legs. And a little more. And a little more. And then start to notice if you're feeling a little lighter. And if you've got a little space in there that you've created, start to notice that and welcome a sense of more courage or more acceptance that's coming in. Can I welcome more courage now? Can I welcome a greater sense of courage that's coming up into my body? And some more. And some more. And some more. And the reason I picked courage is because you're letting go of a lot of fear and anxiety around approaching women. And so this courage starts to build. And it takes courage to face those emotions, allow them, and let some of them go. Now, let's say you only get a 1 or 2% change in this area, just from a release like that. Compound it over time. If you did a half hour, an hour of work where you're actually processing and releasing emotions a day, you could radically shift your life in a very short period of time. So it's a matter of getting started and sticking to it, just like weightlifting. When you go to the gym the first day, you don't expect to see new big muscles on your body, but you know there's something working in the background. So with this stuff, you have to take it seriously, you have to dig in, you have to do the work. Okay? So Cameron, I encourage you to get started right now. Check out Hawkins' book or check out one of our programs where we do specifically releasing for men in dating, relationships, and building confidence. We don't have any live programs yet. I mean, we don't have any online programs, but we do have live programs for that. Joe, let's talk to Joe. Joe, I just found your work and I have taken some of its lessons to heart already. But one of my biggest confidence problems is that of processing. I've been told I'm very left brain and I tend to think in a literal way. As such, I generally have a harder time feeling out people and processing their emotional and social cues in the moment, but will generally understand them later. As many imagine, this has greatly undermined my ability to meet people and generally succeed in social interactions. It's not that I can't recognize emotions or interactions, it's just that I fail to notice the subconscious tells people give off when they feel a certain way, at least in the moment of them happening. Is there anything I can do to boost my reaction time and ability to notice these cues? Yes, we talked about it earlier. You want to start developing a sense of feeling in your body. You're obviously, look, when all your energy's in your head, let's say you have 100 circuits of energy running through your body. If it's all bound up in your head thinking, then you're not connecting to your emotions, which are stored in your body, which is how you feel people in the moment. The body's in the now, the head is in the future or the past. So we want to get out of the head, back down to the body. Starting with something simple like meditation, and you can look up all kinds of meditation programs online. There's tons of them. You just look up meditation videos on YouTube, you'll find tons of them. You'll start to learn to feel some more just through meditation. So that's a great start. Releasing, Hawkins' book, is a great start too. Getting out to one of our workshops, which is where we really teach in-depth programs around feeling and getting into feeling. It's harder to teach through a YouTube video. Getting into something that has a greater feeling nature to it, something usually artistic and creative that requires you to develop a sense of feeling, is also really good. I've had many students that have come into Fearless that couldn't feel much at all. They had no access to emotions. They were very numbed out. And we do a lot of work to help them begin to feel. And so some of the ways I just mentioned can be very powerful, and I highly recommend you get started on them right away. But if that doesn't work, make sure you check out one of our programs. But what I want to do in the meantime is kind of offer an idea. There's something out there that causes you to feel. Can you find it? Start looking around. It could be a certain movie that moves you and causes you to feel some tears and causes you to cry or causes you to feel sad or happy. It could be, for me, it was often when I was growing up, when I would see a mother or a father being really good to their child, hugging and loving and being there and supporting that child, it would cause an emotional reaction in me. Even though it was in my head, that would pop me in. And I would notice that when that happened, whether I saw it on a movie or in real life. So start to notice what causes you to feel. Another thing you can do is start playing with simple objects. Like, for example, take the color red and blue and look at them. Does red feel different to your body than blue? And start to pay attention to the feeling and being loyal to that feeling more than the thoughts. And then start to take it from there into other objects. Look at something close up, look at something at a distance. Does that feel different? Touch different objects. Touch something cold, touch something warm. Do they feel different? Don't look for the analytical interpretation. Look down in your body while you're doing this. So if I'm touching this phone and I'm holding it and I'm feeling it, I'm looking down in my body and I'm asking myself, what do I feel? It's going to start slow. You're going to find one or two things, three things. Then you're going to find a few more. And then the doorway is going to start to open. As it starts to open, don't shut it back down, because a lot of times a lot of emotions come up and then we freak out because we turned them off for a reason in the first place, and we try to close it back up. No, just start nurturing it open a little bit at a time. Don't rush it. Then a little bit more, then a little bit more, until you start to feel more. You might have moments where you have to let go of some heavy emotions while you do that. You might feel a little sad for a bit. Just welcome the sadness and then ask your body to let it go. And then bring up a little more. Welcome that, ask your body to let it go, just like I talked about earlier in this video. And that can be a powerful way to teach you to get out of your head if you're trying to do this on your own. So start looking, start figuring it out, start finding things that pop you into feeling, start doing activities that cause you to have to learn how to feel. Whether that could be dance, that could be art, that could be music, something like that. All this stuff is great. And coming into one of our workshops where we can really look at what's going on for you and really, that's the fastest way that I know of to get somebody down in their body. So with that said, we're going to move on. Thank you, Joe, for the question. The next one is from Salcero. Salcero said, hi, Brian. You talked about how a man should penetrate first with his energy and emotions before penetrating physically. I have trouble getting a feel for how a man can be grounded, relaxed, calm, but energetically penetrating at the same time. It feels to me like these two states are contradictory. I feel like to get this penetrating masculine energy, I have to be intense and focused. In that state, I'm no longer relaxed and calm. When I'm grounded, though, I feel chilled out, totally relaxed. And in that relaxed state, I can't get access to that focused, masculine, penetrating body. What am I missing? They actually go together really well. Opposites often go together really well when you resolve the conflict inside. So a guy that's really good at approaching women isn't going to be up in his head rushing and racing while he's walking up saying hi. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. My name's Brian. What's yours? How you been? That's going to sound very gamey. A guy who's more calm, down in his body. Now, he doesn't mean he doesn't have big energy. He could be, hey, how you doing? My name's Brian. But he's low and grounded and calm in his body while feeling that big energy. He's not popping up out of his body. And that's how you do it. You start to learn to focus while feeling your legs, and focus while feeling your midsection and your turn on. Focus right in that area. Because what most guys do is when they try to focus here, they come completely out of their lower body. So what I want you to do is anchor into your lower body, and you can only be as intense here as much as you anchor down this way. Those two must go together. If you come up and this focus keeps going, it's going to seem very ungrounded and very, you're going to start to race, you're going to feel disconnected. So it's that downward energy that's going to keep you in a sense grounded in the middle of a big energy or in a big intense situation. Think about the flow state for a minute. People in flow states, yes, they're moving fast like an athlete that's in the flow state. He's dealing with intense stuff, but there's a sense of focus. There's a sense of intention. There's a sense of penetrating the moment and dealing with it. And there's a sense that everything is kind of slowed down and they're dealing with it because they're in their bodies while they're moving. And that's what makes it work. So that's what you're looking for, okay? So what we do is we practice putting you under tense situations. We do this in the workshops. and then teaching you to ground down through the body. So you should be able to feel all the way through the body while dealing with the tense situation. And that's what's going to create that sense of power in you as a man. Now, if all that makes sense and you can figure that out, go for it. Because some people can. Some people get it immediately. Some people are close, actually. Some people are halfway there. If you get halfway down, let's say you get partially down, it's going to make a big difference in your reactions. So start to notice when you're talking. Are you talking from your head? Hey, how you doing? Are you talking from your chest? Hey, how you doing? Are you talking from your stomach? How you doing? Starting to relax. Are you talking down from your legs? Are you starting to relax down into your legs and connect more and speak to people with the presence of your whole body? That makes a huge difference. Okay? So next, another one. We got another one from Cameron. I don't know if it's the same Cameron. I'm going to assume it is, but it might not be. Hi, Brian. The last 4 girls that I met, I see a pattern is happening. I get their numbers, start texting, and we set a date to meet. I would say that I feel my emotions in my body during the initial communication, that I feel excited, that I feel excited about going on the date. I have some experience with meditation and emotional awareness, but when the date comes, they ask to reschedule the date because they have to go to a business trip or they are moving or into a new flat or something like that. I would say they're not lying about the reason why, and we reschedule a date for a week or 2, and that does not get us connecting more. Usually it disconnects the initial connection, and I would say that meeting women like this is a pattern for me, and I'm stuck to what the problem is here. I'm feeling a burning tension in my abdominal area, in my liver, stomach, when this pattern of meeting women is unfolding, and I still won't release it or let it go. So this is where I think I'm stuck. So it's really good that, Cameron, that you can feel, obviously. You've got a really good sense of the body. You've got a good feeling sense of the body. I would ask why you haven't released it in your meditation. Start doing that right away. Look, what you focus on, whether negative or positive, is going to expand. It's going to create. So if you keep focusing on the idea that these women are going to flake on you, they're most likely going to end up flaking on you. You are going to subconsciously do something to create that reality or help create that reality to move it in that direction. So when you start to feel this burning sensation, start releasing it. Welcome it, meditate into it, release it. Even if you only get 1%, 2%, 3% lighter at first, keep releasing until it's all gone. Welcome some more, then let it go. Welcome some more, and then let it go, until you can be calm under the tension of her not responding. You want to actually get to the point where her not responding after a while, it all falling apart, just doesn't matter. It's okay, I can handle it. There'll be another girl. You're in a sense free of the reaction. You're indifferent to outcome. That's what we work on. Building a strong sense of indifference to outcome, not indifferent to the moment, indifferent to the outcome. And then what'll happen is you'll see that situation will start to fix itself. You'll see what you're doing wrong that you couldn't see before because you're emotionally bound up in it. Now, most likely what's happening, to answer your question, is you have a good connection, good rapport, everything's solid, then they reschedule for some reason, because women do that, it does happen, and you start letting it all fall apart. You probably start sending nervous texts from anxiety, texts from this burning situation, this fear, and they feel a sense of disconnect. The same guy they met that was so connected in his body is not here in the texting, because it all comes through the text. And then they start slowly fading away, or you don't text at all. Because it's really important in that period when you reschedule the date that you have some good communication and rebonding. You got to remind her why she liked you in the first place, unless the connection in that first meeting was so strong that she can't forget. So just remind her, send her some text, flirt, joke, play, maybe send her a picture or 2 of something that's going on. Get that communication flowing between you two. But if you're burning inside and angry and hurt, it's going to be really hard to do that, because that's going to come across in your communication. You're not going to be creative. You're not going to be open. You're not going to be spontaneous. Sometimes it takes a while. I've literally met girls that I was going to go on a date with right away and ended up dating for a long period of time. And then it just kind of comes around. I've met girls that I maybe went on one date with, didn't see them for years, and suddenly we start texting again, and 2 years later I go on a date with them. Or something like that. Things like that happen all the time. Matter of fact, there's a girl right now that I've never been on a date with. I met her once, we flirted a lot, we texted a lot, we joked a lot. And every once in a while I text her again and I know she'll respond because we have such good communication. And the main reason we haven't been on a date is I just don't push for it. I got a girlfriend for a while, and then so I let it go. And then when I was single again, I texted her a bit, but then I take off to Europe. So when I come back, hey, what's up? And then she's got family in town. To me, it's not a big deal. I enjoyed chatting with her on text, And if I don't, I won't chat with her. And I don't do it very much, once every 3 months or something like that. And then if it ever works out, it works out. In the meantime, there's plenty of more women out there. Okay, I don't really need to go on a date with her. I'm not pushing for it. I'm not even concerned about it. So I want to invite you into this energy where you start to learn to let go and realize there's so many women you can't run out, so that you can get light, so that your texting becomes light. So you start to see how you can continue to create that connection even when the date's been pushed back, which will happen a lot. Okay? So start working on that now. And you'll probably see results quickly, because you being an avid meditator, able to feel your body the way you are, I get the feeling you'll be able to release these emotions quickly. And don't avoid them, and don't sit down and say, I'm gonna take an hour, I'm gonna feel these the next time they come up. If you can go into access memory of the last time it happened, or if you've got something coming up now, do it right away. Take an hour, a half hour a day till you can release them all out. It won't even probably take that long if you've got good meditation skills. Okay? So the next one is from a guy who calls himself Doodle Master. Hey, Doodle Master. I have to completely disagree with you on the problem of analyzing. If I have a problem, I can analyze it, produce a list of causes, produce a list of action items to help fix the problem within a half hour to an hour. It's a very satisfying process. You know what, Doodle Master? Then keep doing it. If that works for you, don't stop. Look, maybe you're in cap with your ability to analyze. Maybe you're not even actually really analyzing as much as you think. Maybe you're more contemplating, which is a very productive aspect of a way to think. It's a more powerful way to think. The question I would ask is, are you getting the results in life you want? If it's women, are you getting the women you want? Are you getting the dates you want? Is analyzing working for you? If it's working for you, why would I want to change it? And that you're not going to be able to answer, because you didn't say anything about that here. So enjoy your analyzing, and if you got another question, feel free to come back and ask me. The next one is Quantum Pancakes. Brian, have you ever done anything with the focusing process by Eugene Jinlun? The word focusing is a little misleading because it implies focusing with the mind, but it's all about staying in the body and letting your felt sense shift until a realization comes direct to you from your wisdom. It's similar to doing a releasing via Sedona method, but more free form. I mostly use Larry Crane myself, another form of releasing. Great, they're both great for all my releasing needs, but wanted to ask anyways. The focusing process by Eugene Jinlun. No, I don't. I've never even heard of him. So, yes, it is all about staying in the body. The problem with focusing is that if we get too focused here, it pulls all our energy up. But we do have to hold an intention. And so the intention starts with the mind, but it doesn't take much to hold it. Matter of fact, you can relax into it and then relax that intent. The intention goes from here down into the body. And then the body takes over. So that's something that I learned years ago, clearly from Walter Russell, probably one of the best manifestors of the last century. The man was amazing. And it goes down through the body, and then the body actualizes. So no, I haven't read the book, but I do agree with everything you said. You got to stay in the body. You got to let your felt sense shift until realization comes directly from your body as wisdom. That's also contemplation. I call that contemplation. That would cause releasing too. It's all the same thing, guys. It's just different versions of it. If a version that works for you is working really well, don't change it. Use it. So just keep going with it. And maybe I'll check him out one of these days. The next one is Chrismic 7777. Recently discovered this channel and it's amazing. Thank you. Brian, can you offer some advice on how to overcome general emotional oversensitivity? I have suffered from this all my life and has real negative effect on me. It's kind of the opposite of somebody who's way in their head and can't feel. I feel I pick up often wrongly. I feel I pick up on every slight perceived negative reaction from someone, and it really affects my future interactions with that person as I become more withdrawn around them. If they then react positively towards me or another person, I pick up on that and become more talkative and confident around them again. This can often make people wonder why I'm confident and chatty around them one day and withdrawn the next. Really isn't a good way to be around people generally, but especially trying to build a relationship with women. I obviously overthink things and am focused on other people's opinions of me and give those opinions too much weight, but I struggle to stop myself. Any advice would be appreciated. First off, what you're dealing with isn't unique. I dealt with the same thing. I've run into a lot of clients that deal with it. Usually they have a lot of nice guy or codependency symptoms. So you might want to check out the book No More Mr. Nice Guy. For somebody who's a heavy nice guy, when they read it, it kind of has a shock to their body. So I checked that book out. Now, second of all, what you are is you're not indifferent to outcome. You're super reactive. That's what's going on. You're reactive to the environment. You're reactive to what's going on. So you have to develop a sense of indifference to outcome. You have to develop a sense of being able to relax under tension, to be proactive with tension. And you do that by learning to be grounded. So as you learn to be more grounded, actualizing more of the lower body, you can start to handle tension better. And you can start learning to step into more tension. So you're going to do this a little bit at a time. So once you start to figure out where your boundary is, and you got to figure it out, then you go out and work on it. So maybe going over and talking to that hot girl causes you to be really reactive since you don't know how she's going to react to you. And there's a part of you that wants to figure out how to be around her. I need to be this way or that way. Is she going to be happy? Is she going to be sad? What should I say? So figure out what your boundary is in that area that's going to cause you to stay in your body feeling, not put you into a rush or a race that's beyond the ability to feel. And then go do it. Maybe it's go ask her the time. And then you work on grounding out or relaxing any thinking about trying to figure out what she felt. Worrying about if she liked it, didn't like it, if you said it right, if you said it wrong. Just relax that out of your body through the grounding, through the heart. Put those tubes in there like we talked about earlier in the video and ground it out of your body. Feel down the front, feel the legs, ground it out. That's what I would recommend. So, and do that over and over every day. And I would do it for at least a half hour to an hour a day like you're exercising. And within no time, you're going to see a whole different relationship to your indifferent outcome around people. And you could do this with friends. If you've got a difficult situation to deal with, how can you step into that difficult situation? As soon as you get a little reactive to it, can you step out and ground yourself back out? Relax, ground, feel down. Imagine the heart's opening, the stomach's opening, and then put those tubes in there and just let anything that's in there go and keep relaxing and letting a little more go and a little more go and a little more go and a little more until you feel better. And then start welcoming a sense of courage. Can I welcome a sense of courage now? And a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And start doing that immediately, like as if you're going to the gym. Do it every day. Do it with friends, do it with family, do it with strangers. It's often easiest to start with strangers because nobody can trigger you more than family. And figure out where that line is and don't go beyond it. If your line that's going to blow you up to the point where it's like a circuit breaker popped inside you and you can't feel anymore because you're racing so much, go just up to that, a little bit before that line, and then go somewhere and ground again and learn to relax. And then go back. If you can go back into the same situation over and over, then do it. For example, approaching women and asking them the time might be where you start. And you keep going back and approaching different women. Maybe you see the same girl later in the day and you ask her another question. And you just keep doing this. If you do this every day, even like 5 days a week, 6 days a week for a while, and you gotta give your brain time to rest. So let's say you do a half hour, an hour a day. Within no time, you will see a completely different behavior coming out of you because you're gonna start learning to ground. Now, it's essential during this process, like I said earlier, that you feel downward into your body. Feel right down the front, feel down the legs. If you're not feeling downward and you're all up here racing, dramatizing, expressing all from up here, then you need to fix that first. And so do something to get yourself back down in your body. Stop, and that's where the process starts. Okay. The next one is Eon Coffee. I hope I said your name right, E-O-I-N. I got the top half, high energy stuff. I'm missing the lower end masculine energy. My question is, how can I get past my low self-esteem around my beliefs and about myself when it comes to women to get through the stages, being intimate and tap into my lower masculine energy? So I'm going to try to read that again because it was a little confusing. My question is, how can I get past my low self-esteem around my beliefs and about myself when it comes to women through the stages, being intimate and tap into my lower masculine energy? Well, getting past your lower self-esteem and tapping into your lower energy, first thing I do is work on tapping into your grounding energy, like I just told the last person. get used to feeling your grounding energy, and because you're going to have a hard time letting go if you don't. And then get used to feeling right down the center pillar of the body, and that's where your releasing is going to be done from. So you're going to start to learn to feel more in the center part of your body, like grounding your legs. That's really important. And then what you're going to do is, once you start feeling grounded, that's not your turn on, by the way. Your turn on comes from around here. But once you start feeling grounded, then you'll be able to start releasing whatever comes up. So it's the same thing. Go out and start talking to some women, whenever you get triggered, go sit down and ground and meditate, and then go right back in. Don't avoid doing. Don't sit at home all day and ground. Stir some stuff up and then get it out of your nervous system. Stir some stuff up and get it out of your nervous system. I've gone over this a lot in today's call. And as you do it, you'll start to get more and more grounded. Maybe we need to do a product on getting more grounded, and just do videos and explanations and demonstrations and all kinds of stuff. I think that might be what you guys need. So the next one, this is Gus. Hi Brian, I'm divorcing my wife, still in the process. I've learned that I'm a codependent, and she's a narcissist in the relationship. I'm healing myself by letting go, but she keeps throwing negative energy, comments, emotions, insults, etc. my way. I was in this emotionally abusive relationship for over 15 years. Her negative energy is still too powerful on me. It's like a magnet that I struggle to break free from. While I can release on some of my negative emotions on my own, it's her negativity that won't seem to let go of me. So how do I let go of negative magnetic hold that her emotions have on me? Thanks. Gus, you're definitely a codependent based on what you said. Codependents have a really hard time letting go. Matter of fact, they're typically horrible at it. They feel a lot and they don't want to let it go. It always feels like an arm, when they're breaking up with somebody, it feels like they're cutting off an arm, something like that. I highly recommend you check out, I don't know how bad the codependency is, so check out a book called Codependent No More by Beatty. It's an old book. And check out No More Mr. Nice Guy. Those are both codependency books, and they can be very powerful in helping you to break through and understand what you're going through. The next thing you need to do is start releasing. And you said you're having an easy time letting go of your emotions, and the reason you're probably not having a good time letting go of emotions in relationship to her is A, you're probably not grounding. You're not feeling your lower body, you're not feeling your center body when you're doing it. And B, there's some deep toxic shame that needs to be dealt with. And the shame it's the shame that binds you, as Bradshaw used to say. You have a lot of shame buried in the body. And there's going to be shame, there's going to be guilt, there's going to be all kinds of other stuff too, and fear and so forth. But shame basically says, I am bad. Guilt says, I did something bad. Wherever there's shame, there's guilt. So you're going to have to deal with both. So you really need to get into how you feel like you're a bad person in relationship to your wife or other people, that you're bad in general, and that you're always compensating for not liking yourself. So that might be something where you want to get into a workshop, you want to get into therapy, you want to maybe get Hawkins' book, do some releasing, get out to our releasing program, because that shame, it doesn't come out easy, but it can come out. You can definitely get it out if you're willing to do the work. Here's the other thing, it's going to hurt while it comes out, and you got to be willing to feel the pain. Grief is one of the stages you're going to have to go through. You're going to feel some apathy, some heaviness, and as it releases and you go into the shame, you're going to feel a lot of pain. There's probably going to be crying. There's going to be tears about your self-worth, about you, about what you've done, didn't do, lost time, etc. And you got to be willing to move through that and feel everything. You're not going to heal by analyzing it all. You're going to heal by feeling it and releasing it. And so you're going to probably need somebody to help you through that codependent cycle. Another thing you could look at and see if you can find a group you like, try some out, is a Codependence Anonymous group. It's like there are groups for codependents specifically, and you can look those up online too. So whether you want to come to one of our events, whether you want to go to one of Glover's events, who wrote No More Mr. Nice Guy, whether you want to go to a Codependence Anonymous group or something like that, I would highly recommend that you take a look at that, because you're going to need support with this. Releasing can be done. I highly recommend you learn and do releasing, but having a support system while you get started and get things going is going to be great. And inside of a few months, you will be a whole different human being, and it will continue to grow from there. Okay? May even be quicker. It depends on how fast you process. I was a stubborn one in the beginning, so stubborn ones take longer. Some people move fast. Some people come in here and fly. So if you can get to the Fearless Man Live, I highly recommend it because I can take a look at you and we can talk a little bit deeper about where you're at. So with that said, Gus, oh yeah, you are coming to the Fearless Man Live, aren't you? Awesome. So we're going to be able to talk deeper about this. So that's perfect one to end on because let's see, right now it is 7 o'clock. Are we ending right now or are we doing questions today?
Let's do a couple questions.
Let's keep it short because it's after 7. I got to get back. I'm actually writing out a workshop, a week-long workshop that we're starting on Monday, and I'm covering all the little subtle details right now, and I want to get it just perfect because it's going to be a week of straight releasing and releasing principles, and I'm excited to get to it. I'm also excited to get ready for the Fearless Man Live, which is coming up at the beginning of August, the one with Zan Perrion, where he's going to co-teach, and we're going to have a blast at that one. It's going to be in Vegas, and it looks like, don't quote me on this, but it looks like we're going to be teaching it at the Palms in the old Playboy nightclub. So we're looking at that right now too. So what's the first question?
Let's see here. There've been a lot of questions coming in, so looking for...
We're going to do 2. So guys, sorry, not a lot of time today. One of these times we'll reserve more time for more questions. How many people we got on the call, by the way?
I went up to 50.
So we got about 50 of you guys out there right now. So that's good. Every week it grows. I see the number getting more and more and more. I'm sure in no time we're going to have 100 or more.
Let's see here.
He's picking a question. And so for those of you that haven't checked out the Fearless Man Live in Vegas yet, make sure you click the link in the chat box. If it's not there, it'll be there in a few minutes. And check it out. There's it's a rare opportunity to meet Zan because he lives in Europe. So if you want to meet the legend, Zan Perrion, and get to work with him directly, this is a great opportunity. So make sure you check it out. What do we got?
Looking here.
He's indecisive, guys.
There's lots of comments, but... a lot of questions you already covered.
Do you want to just throw one at me?
There you go.
Pick one random. Who wins the lottery?
Here's one. I'll just pick this one just because it's a question. There's just lots of comments. What do you think about setting boundaries with women if they use a degrading voice tone?
What do you think about setting boundaries with women if they use a degrading voice tone?
What are some effective strategies to let them know this is not acceptable form of communication?
What are some effective strategies? Well, first off, when I hear these questions, I always want to know who's asking me. What's their personality type? What are they like? What are they capable of? What are they not? Can they ground? Are they not grounded? Is the woman actually being degrading or are you taking it wrong? I see that one a lot too. And I'm not saying that's the case with you. Sometimes guys are hypersensitive and the woman's teasing or playing or flirting and guys take it as negative. If that's not the case and you know she's being degrading and you know she's tacking or jabbing, it could be a test. It could be she wants to see how you handle it and she wants to see your masculinity. If you're grounded, even a little bit grounded, then you can be more solid about it. If you're ungrounded, she won't believe you. If I come from up here and I'm like, I'm not accepting that. I will not accept that behavior. It's gonna sound wishy-washy or not right. But if you come from your lower body, you can actually stay calm, you can stay solid, you can use the penetrating energy, you can create a container, and you can ground, and you can tell her that's unacceptable. You can be really honest about it. One time, several times, more than once, I kicked women out of my place. Say, this is unacceptable, I think you need to leave. And one was my girlfriend at the time because of the way she was being. And you know what? I let her be mad for a day, and in a day, she was much better about it. Now, I'm pretty easygoing. It takes a lot for me to get bothered. So if I get bothered, of course, I'm gonna be very clear about it. My goal is not to lose my temper, yell and scream, not to lose my marbles in a sense. So that's just to be solid, to be clear. You know what? That's unacceptable, and just be clear about it. I may not even use that word. Maybe I will, but I don't want that in my life. I don't want to deal with that. If you want that, then we can't hang out together. Or this is my boundary. That might be all you have to say. This is my boundary. I don't put up with this. Okay. And then she'll look at you. If you're solid and grounded, it'll be clear. The reason I keep reiterating it is more of a tone than a technique. It's more of a grounding energy than a technique. For it might even just be a look. It might even just be playful. It might be like, hey, watch it. You know, I don't like that. And just a little playful look and a slap on the ass. And that's really it. So you got to figure out through experimentation what works for you. Are you going to be playful with her? Are you going to grab her and hold her and tell her no? Are you going to ask her to leave because it's so bad that it's something where you feel like you want some separation, so she understands, because she does it over and over? You got to decide what's right for you, just like she's got to decide what's right for her. Okay? But make sure you're grounded and relaxed. Feel down the front of your body, grounded and relaxed, so she can feel you when you do it. That's the most important thing. If she can't feel you, she can't feel your communication, she can't trust it, she can't trust you mean it, or that you're overly reactive to it, then she is going to eventually bring that up again. She's going to find a way to poke at it again, to jab at you again, because you're still really reactive to it. And that's the big challenge that you got to work through. Okay, one more?
Next question. There are guys who can be good with attention naturally.
Yes.
And guys who can't. What makes the biggest difference? Is it biology, education, conditioning?
There are guys that can be good with tension, guys that can't. What makes the biggest difference? Biology, education, conditions, all of it. I would say that to some degree, there's probably some epigenetics and biology involved, depending on who you're born to, when you're born. There's also conditioning as you grow up, what environment you grew up in, what's your modeling that you went through. Does your father ground really well? Does your mother ground really well? Do your brothers ground really well? The friends you hung out with, the teachers you spent time with, the groups and associations, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, all that kind of stuff, wrestling, martial arts, sports. All of these things can affect over time how good you are with tension. And so if you're not born with it, you can grow it. I wasn't born with it. I didn't have a good role model in that area. I developed it in my body over time. I worked on it and developed it and kept developing. I still develop it today. So I would say it's a lot of different factors. So my concern is not so much all the different ways it can be developed, but what's the most efficient way to develop it in somebody today? Whether they're already there and they want to get better, or whether they're not there at all and they need to grow it. And so just start looking at it in the world. Start seeing it everywhere. What guys are more grounded? What women are more grounded? Who can handle more tension? Look at it on TV, look at it in celebrities, look at it in politicians, look at it in athletes. You'll see reactive and grounded versions of all of them, and more reactive, ungrounded versions of all of them. And you usually see it in their levels of success. In some way, it'll reflect something in their success or the response they're getting. Like for politicians, it might reflect the response they're getting from the media. For actors, it could be the same way. Actors could be really grounded on set, but maybe off set, they're not as grounded. And this happens a lot with musicians and different entertainers too. Some people are really grounded doing their skill or whatever they're good at, but not grounded when they're not doing it. So what we really look at here is how to get somebody grounded, more grounded in everyday life, in the way they're relating to the world, not just while they're doing the thing they're good at. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm gonna go ahead and, am I closing up, guys? Anything else there? Okay. Sorry we didn't get to answer as many questions today. Hope we'll do a week where we can answer some more questions. Make sure you comment in this video. I really want to hear what you thought about the 8 things that develop, the 8 characteristics of a masculine, confident man. I want to hear if there's any one you want to learn more about specifically, so we can dive deeper into those. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Make sure to share this video if you like it. We really appreciate shares. We want to get it out there. We want to help as many people as possible. And make sure to check out the Fearless Man Live. There's a link in the comments section to get to the Fearless Man Live. You can also go to thefearlessman.com, click on events. All of Saturday night's VIP tickets are sold out. So if you want to have dinner with me and Zan, it's sold out for Saturday. So we opened up Friday. They're going to go fast. Make sure you check those out. And if everything goes well, guys, cross your fingers. We're going to have a really nice venue to hold the event in Las Vegas. I think it's going to do really well. The former Playboy nightclub is what we were just told today. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to meet you in person, especially you, Gus, since you asked a question here today. And with that said, remember, only the confident really live.